Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I have a very special video to show you. It is the Outer Worlds vertical slice. Before I get in, let me give you some context. And actually, before I give you context, let me thank Obsidian and especially Mikey Dowling for arranging this and letting me show this to you. I want to show you the vertical slice for many reasons. And let me explain what a vertical slice is first. If you watched my production stages video, which I link below, I talk about the different stages that a game goes through when it's being developed. The vertical slice stage is when you make a level of the game or a map, or in this case, an outdoor map with a few connecting maps. I think there was a town map and 3 dungeon maps. A vertical slice has to look and play like the final shipping game. Now, you may ask, how can you do that? A third of the way or halfway in to the game. Well, you don't show every feature and you don't show every piece of art. So that's how you can do it. Now, let me remind you that this isn't a prototype. Prototypes are made to test game mechanics even before you have art. So often they're gray boxed. Some of the creatures may be T-posed people, or it may be whatever creatures you have available. The levels are just roughly laid out in untextured polygons. Contrast this to the beautiful corner, which is usually not even a whole map, just a part of a map, which is why it's called a corner, that has the final artwork in it. So you can walk around and see what the game will look like. But there's no play in it. There's usually no creatures, no combat, no usable objects. It's just you can walk around and see what the world's like. Vertical slice is sort of both of those combined together and done after those. It is a playable map that looks and acts like you expect the game to when you ship. Now, let me tell you some cool stuff about what you're about to see. We made this vertical slice 1 year into the project and 2 years before we shipped. Let that sink in for a minute, because what I'm going to show you, this vertical slice was so good that rather than just throw it away, we made it a shipping map in the game. It's Roseway. So if you play the game, you're gonna be seeing Roseway. Keep in mind, the team had 1 year to learn Unreal, in this case Unreal 4, and then make this game. So they had 1 year, and this is on an IP that we were spinning up, that we hadn't decided everything at the very beginning of that year. We had a lot of things ready for them to go, but they had 1 year to learn Unreal, to learn how to code in it and to code the mechanics, to make concept art, and then figure out how to get that concept art realized in 3D and Unreal 4. This is a lot of work, and it's a testament to how good the team was that they could do that in 1 year. I've seen teams and heard of teams that couldn't do this after 2, 3, or 4 years. So go Team Outer Worlds. Now, when you watch it, you are going to see some differences. The UI wasn't completed, mostly because some of the mechanics you're seeing were literally just ready and available a week or 2 before vertical slice was due. So there's no time to make a real UI for it. Also, hair wasn't ready. I think you see hair on Ellie, and that's about it. So there's a lot of bald NPCs in the game. But so much of the other stuff was done, and you will see it. We have guns and creatures and particle effects and maps and scenery and buildings and map transition and just so much stuff. Now, I will point out that we didn't have any companions available besides Ellie and Felix, so you only see them. But the way we hid that from you is we didn't let you go aboard your ship, the Unreliable, which is the only place you can swap companions. We also didn't have crafting ready. So by not letting you go on the ship, we didn't let you get to the crafting table that's in the ship. And we just didn't put any crafting tables in the Roseway level. So it wasn't noticeable you couldn't craft because you never came across somewhere you could craft. So finally, this is the actual vertical slice milestone that Obsidian sent to Private Division in September of 2017. It's called Project Indiana. That's what Outer World was known as. This is the Milestone 9 video. We had 6-week milestones. 9 times 6, 54. This was 1 week or 1 year into the game. Super impressive. So now let's take a look at the video narrated by Outer Worlds designer David Williams.
Hi, my name is David Williams. This video goes over some of the features and highlights of the vertical slice build for Project Indiana. The vertical slice takes place on a section of Terra 2. The player lands their ship to investigate a distress call that was cut off. In this build, we were able to inject humor and world building into our environmental storytelling.
Punishable by a fine of no less than 10,000 bits.
Roseway is an example of a living town that's been recently devastated by an attack. The player is free to explore the surrounding environment. There's lots of little things to discover and major POIs to orient and attract the player to new locations. You can even discover their secret lab. Shh, don't tell anyone.
This is their secret lab? So much for subtlety.
Environmental storytelling allows the player to learn about the world and story without excessive exposition. The player can play the game with a variety of playstyles. We have built some example archetypes for the vertical slice. Here are some highlights from the combat archetype. We have a new heavy weapon called the heavy machine gun, which is a high damage weapon with a large magazine. Called shots have been streamlined to make them easier to use and more rewarding. We've revised tactical time dilation to allow the player to shoot and use their abilities during TTD to make it more interesting to use, as well as easier for players not as skilled in FPS gameplay. Melee is fast and brutal.
Hey, get back. Please performance check status.
We've updated our enemy deaths to show more visceral feedback: murder, death, kill, gibbs, fire, electricity, and boom. The leadership archetype focuses on empowering your companions. Players have access to 2 leadership abilities.
Take them down.
Inspiration increases allies' damage.
Shot, Captain.
I'll tear your limbs off. Give it all you got.
Determination increases allies' armor. The leadership skills can be mixed with stealth, called shots, melee, and any of the other player abilities. The dialogue archetype focuses on manipulating other NPCs through conversation choices and dialogue combat abilities.
You're saying they walked into a communications tower, turned on the transmitter, held down the talk button, and sent half a message by accident?
The player talks to Anton, who is the lead scientist in Roseway. A dialogue character can use Intimidate or Persuade to get him to reveal to you his top secret research.
Any worse. All right. We were tasked with formulating a new and improved dental gel.
A dialogue character can solve Cassandra's problem not through violence and fighting, but by persuading the security team, Porter, to leave.
Compromise. I gotta believe that all we done will mean something to the company, to Doc Crane. That effort will make up for mistakes. I trust that we all end up where we're supposed to be. That all the variables come together in the end. Here, my key card. It'll get you access to the whole place. Pull stakes, people. We're heading back to town.
A dialogue character will have the most options on influencing people in conversations.
You questioning my motives, my compassion, has unsettled me. All I cared about before was Byzantium. I believed getting there was everything, that my life would finally have meaning. You're right. And what's worse, I've always known it. But there's nothing to be done. This is the life I've made for myself.
Dialogue options have meaningful consequences. You can convince Anton to leave all this behind, or even to kill himself. The stealth archetype allows tactical gameplay to avoid confrontation and danger. A sneaking player learns about awareness level in nearby NPCs and can use NPC barks and audio to avoid detection.
Run out and search. Why don't you come on out? Don't you want to play with us?
The stealth character can complete objectives without even being seen.
Alert. Employees return to designated workstations for safety.
But when the stealth character decides it's time to fight, a sneaking character can use their ambush attack for a massive damage bonus to start combat.
Having trouble? Please more sentry bots. Employees return to designated workstations for safety. Sentry bots. Goodbye.
You know who I am?
Negative.
Okay. I think that was pretty darn amazing. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you some insight into what a vertical slice for a game looks like. And I hope you're really impressed with what this team could do with an unknown engine and a brand new IP after just 1 year.